the passive in conjunction with just the additional AD that he gets from his Q early levels, really, really strong. Ooh, a Kali answer into the Gnar. Pretty creative counter pick there. We can talk more about that when we get into game. But the thing about Nocturne is or is he looking to split map? Is he actually just going to go for a gank?
I wouldn't mind this. Rooster, in terms of laning, already ahead of Broken Blade, dashes away with a Shuriken Flip, gets hit by the wallop, goes back in, Ignite down, but Broken Blade flashes out of range, and with the Fear Tether going off, Skumon should be able to get a pretty easy kill on Rooster.
Okay, so first blood goes to Skumon.
A little bit in draft. It hasn't so far been Broken Blade's spring.
No, it certainly hasn't. Like, there's always context behind every stat, of course, but they do reinforce this idea and this sentiment that Broken Blade has been struggling. Now, Hanson could be struggling.
Focus Resolve going down. It's just going to get the root. Doesn't have the mana for anything, and without barrier, because he's running TP, just gets taken down in the 2v1.
No scope. 360, level 6.
So first, it wasn't a 360. He didn't do a spin, and he was looking at it. Going in with the Paranoia. The Fear going to come out as well. Flash out from Nuke as he looks to get away. Put into the egg now. Bukata's going to leave him. Those eggs are pretty rotten as G2 will find a kill. Caps takes it. Meanwhile, Labrov looking for Trimby and Product down towards this bottom side. Exhaust down onto Hans Summer. Essence Flux into the auto attacks. Arcane Shift away. Bubble doesn't quite connect. Product shielded up by the Inspire out of Trimby, but Skumon's on his way across. No flash for him. No flash for Product either. Duskbringer. Oh, just short of clipping onto the Ezreal, but now Trimby needs to be a bit cautious because he's feared underneath his tower. Does still have the flash. No heal to help him out here. The Mandred focus resolve as Labrov tanks a tower shot, flashes away very late, and underneath the tower, Skumon just dies. Bukata's on his way across. No flash, no Bolt Breaker. Labrov looking for the mood speed from the ebb and flow. We'll get it with a Tidecaller's Blessing too. Bolt Breaker out again as they look for Labrov under the tower. They'll take him. Bukata trades his life for it though, as Hans Summer picks up a freebie.
That some shenanigans are happening.
Melmore behind here as 4 members of G2 begin to collapse on Product kill. Arcane Shift out of the Fear, nicely done, but he's delaying the inevitable you have to feel. Paranoia out from Skumon just to make sure they secure the kill. G2 get their 4th. Skumon gets his 2nd, and with it a 700 gold lead. Trimby looking to see if Caps oversteps. Yeah. Inner Flame coming out. Flash Frost as well for the stun. There's the wall. Does Caps have a way to sneak by it? The answer is a resounding no, as Caps falls to the Glacial Storm and Nuke gets on the board. Skumon the next target. It feels like after one person dies, everyone else just follows like lemmings off the cliff. Bukata flashed forward for an attack. What is going on, Benny? Trimby will walk out through the tower range to get himself to safety. And shift drops have been started by Skumon. As you say, no real Dragon Prio so far. There's a small window for G2 to do it, but instead they went for a blue buff steal. Bukata,
because there is that small window where you get that spike, but I'll have to shut up as the jungler is looking for a gank on a Broken Blade.
Got it in, cease and desist there for the follow-up. Perfect execution coming out from Rooster. BB goes mega. The wallop goes wide though, and without that CC, there's no escape for the Gnar. Broken Blade dies, and while it's happening, G2 will take the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, nice gank from Shifters, and then a nice cross map coming through from G2. Overall, a fairly even trade, but funneling a little bit more gold into Rooster is very much what
Being up here quite a lot of the time, and it doesn't surprise me, because getting Rooster ahead on the Akali makes a lot of sense. Vault Breaker onto Broken Blade just as he goes mini, Betty. Cease and desist there for the follow-up, and the jump isn't going to get him out of Ignite as he ticks down. Rifthold is now the new target. In
problem on the side lane, and I don't really think that this is necessarily Broken Blade's fault per se, but I mean, there's a world where perhaps he could have been a little bit more considerate, seeing as that really feels like the only lane that Shifters have been looking for ganks for in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's always one of those, like, play safe and you're dying under tower. He hasn't died under tower, he's died in the middle of the lane, but he also wants to get Prio in the top lane to allow his jungler to do the Rift Herald, allow him to move down without losing camps, right? So I agree with you, but also there's always that balance that has to be struck as Camps looks for a Realm Warp behind Nuke, who flashes away. Shroud of Darkness came out from Skumon, but he's on the wrong side of the wall. Nuke's walls have actually been really solid this game as Bukata comes in to help secure the kill. Caps looking for the damage. Tidal Wave out from Labrov. This feels greedy. Broken Blade's down here as well, as perhaps they were thinking they could catch out Nuke in time with an Aqua Prism into some spell flux, but no flux given by Shifters. Didn't give them the opportunity to find the kill. They'll still take the tower though as G2 crack open the first turret of the game.
So Broken Blade now hesitant to try and match in the top side given the strength of Rooster in the side lane.
Dragon Pit, but Skewmon just starting it up, and I think Shifters have said, okay, you can take the second Drake of the game, we'll give you that liberty. Instead, we'll try and take the mid lane towers. Broken Blade once again on the wrong side of the wall. Nuke locking people in cages on this Anivia as the Reptile charges in, and Shifters get their second turret of the game, and with it, 1,000 gold lead, Betty.
Great patience.
It's not their laning phase that they have struggled with too much. It is the mid-game decision-making, as we see Trimby getting caught out by Hans Summer and Lebrov, and Trimby's decision to be there was not ideal.
Yeah, it was a bit of a... Hang on a second. It looks like Bukado's looking for another gang.
The Season Assist is available. Rooster looking for the chase. Gunblade for the slow. They dive onto Broken Blade once again, and Broken Blade dies once again. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately, for BB.
Just trying to catch that top wave. This tower, though, the kind of long con after securing that mid tower, easily secured. That gold going to be fed into Rooster, who is now the...
They've started to do it, but they give it up. It is sole point for G2, and that Dragon's going down very quickly. Caps caught out, though. Season Assist there for the follow-up. Caps there, shield not going to be enough to save him. The stopwatch coming out from Rooster as he is speared up by Skewmon, but he manages to dash out with a perfect execution. Skewmon goes down, but Ugg beginning to pop off on this Ezreal as G2 are forced away, and the smite comes out from Shifters. Next up,
she provides with both the ultimate and the wall. She's going to have to do the same thing here to stop G2 from approaching.
Now Hans trying to step up with 3 items. Again, a Glacial Storm into the wall. Valkyrie has to be used by Hans Summer, and he backs away after it. Lebrov's still looking for something here. There's a Realm Warp available for Caps, but they're not going to be able to get a range in time. Shifters will get the Baron. 25 minutes in, a 3k gold lead, and the Baron buff for the next 3 minutes.
So remember that G2's very cautious of Rooster on the flank, but once G2 gets targeted, things kind of go into disarray. They immediately turn their attention onto the Akali, but a shield comes...
Buff up the wave with the Baron buff to make it a little bit harder for Caps to clear out, but Shifters have put all of their attentions towards this top lane tier 2. Hans Summer on the wrong side of the wall once again, as Nuke continues to put those crystallizers in advantageous positions. He's got a little bit of practice on the bird.
I mean, we're seeing, again, one of the reasons why I just kind of don't like Nocturne right now. Like, it's so hard for G2 to really engage into this comp, and obviously they're on the back foot right now.
While the rest of Shifters are down with their final couple of minion waves on this push. 20 seconds left on the Baron buff. They're looking to try and take down another tier 2 out of it. Would leave the inhibitor towers up after the Baron does expire. Realm Warp a possibility here for Caps as he could try and get BB behind.
Good Rocket Belt away from a Nocturne Q.
It's so versatile.
Oh, well, speaking of versatile, Bukado coming in from over the wall.
Season Assist onto Hans Summer. The rest of the team not really there as Caps begins to open up. The dive onto the backline from Skewmon's going to take out Trimby, and now Bukado is put into the Guardian Angel. True Shot barrage out, Nuke flashing away from Broken Blade. Rooster now going to join the fray. Immediately stunned. There's the Aqua Prism. If only he had a rocket belt, he could have dodged it. Realm Warp in for the chase as Shifters overstep in the mid lane, and G2 punish them. G2 will find 3 off the play, and just like that, the fortunes turn in their favor.
Like, how is this trio going to follow up on this deep of a dive? Caps becomes the target on the other side, but he chunks out things as well, where, like, G2, as much as they slump, as much as they make mistakes, like, you can't just assume that it's a free win once you've got a lead, right? They've got smart players that are very aware. But I see, oh, Skewmon.
Ricardo looking for the Season Assist onto Hans Summer. Paranoia means that he's out of range, and with a tidal wave there for the follow-up, the damage is not going to be enough. Skewmon traded back as Rooster dives the backline, but now he's on the wrong side of 4 members of G2. A stopwatch. And he wishes he could stop, rewind, and take that play back as he goes down.
Respect Caps' ability to quickly collapse, and it ends up being these numbers advantage. Now G2 have the gold lead, which is very frustrating for Shifters, because like, you're in such a good spot. I feel like you have such a good comp. It's so difficult for G2 to find these engages, and you just make it easy for them as Nuke might now be targeted.
In. The rest of Shifters are here.
Whoa.
The jump across the wall with the blast cone. Broken Blade going to get caught out by Rooster, who needs to get out of dodge, but Skewmon now is the one behind enemy lines, and with the chase coming out from Shifters, this is the enemy jungler. They'll catch him in the GA. Caps is still pushing mid, does have the Realm Warp, but they're not going to join their good friend Skew, who's skewered by Rooster and picks up his 5th kill of the game. G2, though, will punish the fact that Shifters sent a lot of players up towards the top side by taking down the tier 2 in mid.
Well, G2, I think...
I made a new item there for a second. Paranoia out, and yeah, you can't collapse anymore. As Shifters, a good Baron take by G2. Shifters, though, will turn their attentions towards the Drake. Realm Warping to top lane. It's going to be a tier 2. We'll see if it's any more than that.
They don't care about the Dragon at all, and this is putting a lot of pressure on the Shifters. They're constantly having to react, and like, again, say what you will about G2, they have great map awareness. They know how to punish, and they know how to take advantage of Shifters having to make quick decisions in this situation, and they're running the Rift right now. They get themselves another tower. They're putting pressure onto top, though.
Yeah, Corki's poke is good, but his auto attacks aren't that long.
That's true.
Nora rises, Nora broken blades. There's Skumon, Shroud of Darkness, Realm Warp coming out, Paranoia being used as well with the TP coming in. G2 read this like a book, but not one of those complicated ones. It was like a kindergarten book. Skumon sat in the mid lane, and all that happened immediately was an easy kill for G2. I couldn't think of a quick rhyme there, Betty. Skumon sat in the mid lane, Shifters took the
Shifters experience a ton of pain.
Nice, good one, Betty. That's why you're the poet. I'm not. That's why you write the rap battles.
You can stop now. You can stop digging the shovel. It's all good. I'll take over from here.
Digging the shovel? That's a mistake.
Another inhibitor is going to fly. I think G2 is looking to end the game right now. They have the numbers advantage. 3 inhibitors down. They just need a couple more waves with the Baron. They should be looking to close this one out.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy from here. Hans Summer just stepping up with those Sheen procs from the Triforce. Shifter's going to try and defend, but they don't have a huge amount of engage when that jungler is dead. It's all kind of on the buy as Rooster goes in, does dive onto Labrov. A minion eats the shuriken, and Labrov will survive through it. Meanwhile, towards the top side, Caps has a Saris. Labrov takes the kill. The Nexus towers fall, and Shifters once again experience a mid-game collapse. It is synonymous with them these days. The Shifters try to defend. Skumon has a GA. Broken Blade has enough health to take down the Nexus. G2 clean it out.